Just wait for some people to pop on. Let me know when you're ready. That beeping is driving me nuts.
I'm scarred for life.
Why?
Work.
Oh, yeah. You're just gonna count down?
No, we're in there.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Transformations Live podcast. So we're happy to be here again this week back at the Berks Rise Center, where we normally do our podcast from. So, as always, we want to thank Berks Rise Center for allowing us the space to do our podcast here. And again, my name is Lee Cruz. I'm the CEO and President of Transformation, and I'm the host of this live podcast. And alongside of me is Joshua Camacho. He's the co-host for Transformation. So before we get started, I just wanted to read what Transformation's mission is. I've never really read it or spoken about it, so I just wanted to read it and tell you the services that we do provide. So our mission is to support the development of any individual's natural desire to achieve a spiritual, successful, and productive life through faith, hope, education, and love. While working with Transformation participants, we will be supported and encouraged in developing their sobriety, advancing in life skills, gaining a better quality of life, and becoming an asset to the community. Transformation is currently being financially supported by the Council on Chemical Abuse in providing Transformation's Recovery speaker series at the Berks Rise Center, the English version. The Spanish version is being held at PA Counseling, where we have people with lived life experience from their substance abuse disorder, whom have been able to transform their lives to share strength, hope, and encouragement to the still sick and suffering by sharing their own stories of what it was like before, when the recovery began, and the process, and where they're at today. Transformation also has a weekly podcast to educate, give community awareness, inform of different community agencies that can help and encourage people to find help on their own or loved ones' substance abuse disorder, provide different avenues of help, pathways to recovery, and educate the people on the different community agencies who can help them get started on their pathway to recovery. We provide CRS services, are provided to anyone who needs the services with mentorship, assist with beginning of the journey to recovery, refer to treatment, whatever that may look like for that person, introduce housing opportunities, explore different pathways to recovery, educate on the addiction, set achievable goals, work off of a recovery care plan where we address the domains they currently struggle with in their lives, assist them with removing barriers, etc. Transformation is currently partnered up with the Reading High School, where we are invited to go in and speak with the children who get caught in their Reading High's hallway sweeps, so we can give them some words of encouragement to prevent them from making bad choices in the future by sharing some of our own life-lived experiences from our very own high school experiences. Transformation is also looking to partner up with BCTV and the Alvernia radio station in the near future to broaden the amount of viewers we reach and be able to help educate and make aware of the deadly disease of addiction and harm reduction. So I just wanted to read that just to let you know what Transformation has been doing and continues to do for the community to help assist people who are struggling with their substance abuse disorder. So with all that said, if you guys are watching us right now and you're struggling to stay sober, you're struggling to find a pathway, you're struggling to find a support group, you're just struggling to get started on the right path, my phone number is 484-772-7079. If you know where the Berks Rise Center is, you can always drop off in here Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5, I believe it is, and they will give you all the information you may need. You can email me at transformationslc14@gmail.com, and I will get back to you, and then Josh will give you his information.
Yep, Joshua Camacho, Macho Camacho on Facebook if you're more comfortable with doing it through inbox. My phone number is 484-926-8358. My email is transformationsjosh.23@gmail.com. We've received a bunch of phone calls and text messages, and it's just been really working out well. I'm very happy that we're able to provide this for you guys, and just wanted to, we just want to keep the train rolling.
Yeah, and we for the followers and the people that we have helped so far, we have been able to place people into treatment. We have been able to find people housing. So it's been successful with our live podcast here. Like I was sharing with Josh and Yvonne the last time she was on, I was able to help somebody out of state, which is humongous. They're feeling all alone somewhere else, and they don't know what to do. And when you're able to help somebody from out of state, out of your area, that makes you feel really, really good.
Absolutely.
And Josh has been getting so many people reaching out to him for help. So that makes us feel like we're doing the right thing, and it makes us be able to sleep better at night.
Yes.
So the topics that we're going to touch on today, Josh is going to start off with them.
We'll start with codependency. Codependency is a process during the addiction that can be a hard one to break, because it not only affects you, but it also affects your loved ones. So in my personal experience, I was super codependent off of Tina. What I was able to do was find the ways and the words to, I don't think there's any other way to say but manipulate. I was able to manipulate Tina to be able to feel for me in a way that she would then become my outlet of being able to consistently get high. There's no way around it. At the time, she was doing the working, so she was the financial backing for my, nasty empire. You know what I mean? She was the one that I was able to go to be able to help me, get the funds to get what I needed, and that over time progressed into a storm. Like, it just constantly got worse and worse and worse. And the codependency then not just becomes the financial backing after a while, it becomes that emotional disconnect, to where now they're afraid to say, hey, do you know what you're doing is killing yourself? Do you know that I'm afraid to come down and find you, overdosed or unfortunately not here? Because when the codependency becomes secure, and like for me in my shoes, once it got to a place where it was like, I'm not bothering you anymore, I'm not really doing it. In my head, I felt like I wasn't doing as bad as I could be. So what's the problem? We've never had a problem before. But the codependency is something that we'll find a way as the addict to, kind of create these lines of connections that are just unhealthy. And one of the biggest things that we have to try to do, and what Lee is going to help us, and we're going to try to give you guys ways to be able to break that connection for codependency.
Yeah, I like the way you said the codependency, because like you said, the word that comes up is manipulation. Trying to buy extra time, so like that we can get high or drunk, whatever the case may be. I currently am dealing with a person who the significant other is blaming that person for their actions. So the person had gotten a DUI, and the significant other says because of the person's action for the DUI, they didn't get a position at work. So it's that person's fault because they didn't get a position. And like I told the person it's not your fault.
Right.
Your action, you got to hold yourself accountable for your own actions. Now, whatever, there's more than one incident for him to not get a position. So don't let somebody else blame you for what happened in their life. You have to continue be strong, get the help that you need, and apparently that person needs to get help too.
Right.
So, with all that said, I remember in my not my early recovery, in my addiction, I was married, like I said, for 20 years, and every time I wanted to drink, I would say I would only drink 1 or 2 beers. Please get me another. Let's just get some beer. And they would give in, and as soon as they gave in, I would drink the first beer, and it was like, you ever watch Popeye? Am I dating myself? When he would eat that spinach, and he just, like, I drank that one beer, man, and instantly it changed my behaviors and the way I talked and the way I treated people. So, needless to say, that one beer led to 30 beers, which then led to a very bad night. So manipulation, codependency on the other person, that thinks that if they give you what you want,
Right.
they're gonna get better results than the last time.
Absolutely.
That is a lie. That is just true lie.
And
It's not gonna happen.
That's what happened with mine. So when you hear codependent, I don't want it to make the significant other feel some type of way that they're hindering us, because it's really not them. So and what I mean by that, I'll explain a little better, is so for mine, Tina became codependent to me and my addiction because if I was not high, if I was not where I wanted to be with my substances, I was not an okay person to deal with. I was very disconnected completely. I didn't want to get out of the bed. If she had set up a family activity, well, I can't go because I don't feel good. That was my go-to line. I don't feel good. And it got to the spot where Tina knew why I didn't feel good. And then, so what she began to do was unknowingly become my go-to source, and she helped me be codependent because she was just trying to have me involved. She was just trying to have me around. So then what do? I pick up on that, and then I started to manipulate that to make it work better for me. Whether that would be to say, hey, well, we got to do this tomorrow, so I need this I got to go get this tonight, or whatever the case may be. But I just didn't want especially for my case, I didn't want the significant other to feel like they're, purposely, hurting us, because they don't really know what they're doing. They just feel like they're trying to help us, right? They just feel like they're trying to get us through the day. But we know what we're really doing. And, it really comes into us being realists and realizing that we need to make the better choices.
I know we're sitting here talking, and I think it was you this morning that we were talking about. I just lost that thought. Anyways, don't worry about it. I have that problem. But anyways, with the codependency, it definitely, I used to tell people when their families would come to me and ask me, what can I do for my kid? What can I do for my son? And I'd be like, well, he's burned enough bridges. You gotta let him stand on their own 2 feet. You gotta stop being a supply source. You gotta stop giving him money when he wants money. You gotta stop opening the door when he wants to come home and lay on your couch. You gotta hold him accountable for his actions. You gotta make him stand on his own 2 feet, or her, whatever the case may be. And I know that people have reached out to me in the last 2 weeks, and parents, and asking me, what do I do? Well, if they're willing, take them to the hospital. That's all you can do. And then don't be that source to continue to give them, be there to support them. Right. But don't be the source of keep wanting to give them stuff, because then they know that they have you on the line. They know that you are their go-to person. The hardest thing for a parent to do is cut that tie.
Yes.
And not give in to their children. But in all reality, when you keep giving in to your children, you're keeping them sick.
Yes.
So as much as we advocate with harm reduction and we want to make sure that they use and live, at the same time, we're also telling you to be stern. I don't want to word this wrong because I don't want to say do one thing but do the other.
Right.
But it's just it's real. It's setting boundaries, learning how to set boundaries so like that they don't utilize you as a part of their manipulation. If that makes any sense.
No, because it's hard. It's a fine line.
Mm-hmm.
Like the support can be there as far as the conversations, the encouragement that to get better, to seek treatment, but the constant just breaking down. Yes, all right, giving and giving and giving. The thing that I think about, right? I challenge, and this really has to come down to the addict that's still sick and suffering, who are utilizing their mom, their dad, their grandparents, or their significant other as that money source. That we're putting them in a really, really scary and messed up predicament, right? Because now being sober, what I think about is there was a time I was going through precipitated withdrawal in my basement, and I was down bad. I mean, every hair follicle on my body hurt. I couldn't keep anything down, and I'm in my basement. And Tina came down. It was a long night of shivering, throwing up, just some pretty rough stuff. She comes down in the morning, and she sees me, and the look in Tina's eye I'll never forget, because it was just she felt so bad for me, and she just wanted me to feel better. And she was like, after I refused to make that phone call. I went through it, but after I was able to come out of it by the graces of my higher power, she said, I was just about to give it to you. I was just about to go upstairs, come downstairs, give you a couple dollars so that way you could feel better. That's what we do to them. Mm-hmm. We put them in a position to where they would rather us continue to be sick rather than be sick. Mm-hmm. And I feel it took me a long time to get over that. And I apologize to her all the time, still randomly. I'm like, I'm sorry for all the things that I put you through. She says, where does that come from? What are you talking about? Those are the type of things that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Because now we get to a spot where we love them. Even in our active addiction, we know who we love, and we love them hard, but we have this demon and we have this disease that takes control. But think about what they would have to go through if they were the person that provided you that last financial backing to get high and you don't make it to the next day. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, that sounds super deep, and I wanted to, because that's the severity of what goes on in drug addiction. It's really not, it's not rainbows and sunshine. It's usually incarceration or death. And that's what I want you guys that are still, kind of manipulating the ones that you love to really think about. Because now, what would I have done? Obviously, I'm dead. But what would Tina's life been like, knowing that, with her struggling through the fact that she was going to think for a while that she was the cause of my death?
And again, when you talk that way, I'm sitting here thinking, it's not the person, right? It's totally the disease of addiction that takes over and makes that person act that way. And the only way I can describe that to people is if they ever watch that movie, The Exorcist, mm-hmm. When the child is, possessed by that demon, and that's addiction right there. It manipulates you. So it's not the person. The person you have to love and support for the rest of their life, or they can be dead. But at the same time, learn to set boundaries and learn to love from afar. Better worded if you can say that. Talk to them into getting into treatment. Talk to them into getting into a transitional living program. Talk to them into finding a CRS, which is a certified recovery specialist. Talk to them about getting help, or you're not going to continue to help them. That's the way you break that cycle, is by just keep planting those seeds into them, and show them that you're coming from a place of love and caring, empathy, and showing all those good traits, because they too have that power inside of them to be where we're at today
100%.
by following all the simple rules that we
Right.
follow.
And I didn't want to be too, stern or, coming for the person that was still seeking suffering, but the actuality was that's not who I was. I didn't want to manipulate Tina, but my disease came priority number one.
Oh yeah, and I totally understand that.
And unfortunately, that's what happens to all of us. I haven't had a conversation with a person on the phone that or that I've met up with since we've been getting treatment for people that I don't feel are unbelievable people. They have really great traits. They have this understanding of life because of the misery and because of the pain that they felt. But the disease of addiction will have us do things on a constant basis that we don't want to do, and it all starts with just how we wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't want it. We talked about a few weeks ago. You get to that spot that you're only getting high to get normal, to feel normal. You're not getting high to enjoy yourself anymore.
Right.
So
what I love about us two is that I can so much relate with the alcoholics and the cocaine users, and you can so much relate to the opiate users.
yes, absolutely.
And I love that about this team, is that we can relate on different levels. Because every time I talk about something, it has to do with an alcoholic, because that's who I attract is alcoholics, and that's just the way it is. But this person that I was talking about earlier, I remember asking that person, I said, they want help. They started going to meetings, which is great. And then I said, do you think that you're able to accept the fact that you will never have another sip again for the rest of your life? And that was a no. They're not there yet. But with continuance of encouragement, and continuing to throw those inspirational quotes and then pieces of the big book, sending them the list of meetings, that because they'll go to meetings and they'll say, I didn't quite like that meeting. Well, here's the list. Go to that. Go find one on there, because you will run into a meeting that you like. Not every single meeting that people walk into is for them.
Right.
You have to find the meeting that's for you. You got to find your crowd. The one thing is that alcoholics can definitely pick out an alcoholic from anywhere, just like a opiate user can pick out an opiate user from everywhere. Meth user, same thing. It's all the same. But the most important thing for me that I always talk about is finding that support group.
Yep.
And you know that we work together, and I always talk about finding a support group. You can't do this alone. You're never going to be able to do it alone, so do not try to convince yourself that you can. But you don't have to go to an AA meeting. You don't have to go to an NA meeting. There are so many other different paths to recovery. There's smart recovery. There's celebrate recovery. There's church. The most important part of recovery is finding a support group that is sober, and that is willing to sit down, listen to you, hear you out, you bounce your thoughts off on them, and then they give you their view, and they give you their advice, and then you take it from there. You're able to drive them. You're able to live life on life's terms as long as you do the work. That's the most important part, is having a support group.
Yeah, because if you don't, I was on the phone with an individual who, he gave me a call. He had recently relapsed. He was down and out. Unfortunately, he had lost just about everything he had acquired during his sobriety. He was in a hotel. So he gave me a phone call. I did everything that I could on my end, right? I got him set up to where he was going to, enter treatment. I then did a follow up 2 days later, I believe it was, because I was kind of, just concerned. I wanted to make sure that he had made it. Well, it comes to find out that he kind of wanted to go to one particular facility, right? And that's okay because he had had success there before, he felt comfortable there. But to me, I kind of just took it that he wasn't quite ready to jump back into recovery yet. Just because of the desperation that I heard originally didn't match the energy to put in the work that Lee's talking about. Because the desperation that I heard originally to, lead me into doing what I do to get him to where he needed to be kind of stalled out once that one place wasn't available. Now, I'm not saying that he, made a wrong decision. I'm just saying that it didn't match. Because if the desperation matched the work, anywhere would have been okay because we would have been able to get what we needed wherever we had the opportunity to get into. But it's not easy though. That's the thing. Like, it's just there's always two sides to every coin. I love to say that all the time because it's the truth. So it's hard to it's not easy to do what we do because we have to then kind of put our personal experiences aside. Because me personally, I wanted to say, well, what the like, you want to kind of grab him by the shoulder, just like, what are we talking about? Like, come on, we can do this. We can get there today. Why would we start, 2 weeks from now? But it's not easy. And I understand that because I remember being there. And I would like to take the saying that I've been there and kind of squeeze into the second topic is the denial and blaming of others. And it goes with what I was just going to go into because I could find any excuse in the world on why my sobriety was not going to work. One of the biggest ones was I don't do rehabs. I don't do treatment. Like, I don't know what we're talking about. Like, I can do this on my own. And that was very early when I was very young. And needless to say, I failed every single time, horribly. Horribly. I blamed others for the reasons why I got high for a good 15 years of my addiction. Because I never wanted to put my big boy pants on. I never wanted to say that, okay, maybe I went through some bad stuff. Maybe I went through some things that I shouldn't have. But my actions are, and I'm accountable for my actions. I need to be able to take responsibility for what I do, and that's just not what I did. I rather blame it on you. I blamed it on you, and then it gave me the fuel to just continue to move on.
Yeah, that denial process for us individuals that are fighting the addiction is insane. Because I could just remember last week when somebody said they needed help. They reached out at that moment of when they wanted the help, right? So then you talk them into going to the hospital and just ask for a warm handle program. They'll send you right where you need to go, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay. So then you check in with them 2 hours later, they're still not there. Well, why aren't you there? Oh, I had to do something first. Well, what did you have to do first? So they started feeling better from the problem that they first had they were ready to go for because they had a repercussion from it. And it was heavy at that moment. But once, like I talk about all the time, once that pain starts diminishing, they forget how bad they needed that help. When they see a little bit of light that maybe they can wait another day, they'll wait that another day that turns into another 6 months or death. So the reality is, if you're struggling out there right now, and you're at that moment where you're just thinking about it, now is a good time to go for treatment. Now is a good time to pick up the phone. Now is the time just send a message on Facebook and say, hey, Can you guys lead me to treatment? Can you guys lead me to begin my pathway to recovery? Give me some encouragement. Give me hope, because that's what we're here for. We just want to give you hope in order to get started, in order to find that support system that you're so longing, that you need to start your new life. Not in a million years, 10 years and 7 months ago, that I believed that I was going to be the program director of a program. Not that I once think that I was going to have my own nonprofit. Not that I once think I was going to have a book. Not that I once think that I was going to be doing a podcast or be doing a speaker series and talking to the community. Not once did I think I was going to be a community leader. The things that are happening in my life, I never even thought were possible. I thought they were up on the moon. That's how far I felt from the community itself that I once lived in. I was absent. I was alive, but I was so far. You know what I mean? Like, people would just walk by you and you were non-existent. And today I'm existing, and I'm making a change, and I'm making a difference. And I know that the people that are struggling currently out there can be the same. And I'm so and when I say that so passionately. When I met Josh, I remember when I had my first conversation with Josh, and when he started talking, I remember thinking to myself, I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, man, I remember that feeling that you had when you came to talk to me, because it was like 10 years ago. You were hungry. You wanted to get into the field to show people that it is possible to get out of that hellhole that you once lived in. And that made me so happy to know that somebody had that fire in them. And every time we talk and we conversate about different things, I can feel that passion in you. And that's why I chose you to be, part of transformation, because you're just so passionate about helping people, and there's so many people in this community that are that way. And Yvonne Stroman, big sister, my big sis, what's up, sis? She, huge part to my recovery, mentor of mine. She helps me the best she can. Anytime she gives me the advice I want to hear, and she tells me when I talk too much. But my wife, she's, I'm a dreamer, and dreamers just talk too damn much and they demand too much, and I demand a lot from my wife. But I'm very happy that she's in my life today and was not in my life when I was in my active addiction, because I don't think that it would settle right in my heart for her to have known that person, because I was an evil person. I was very manipulative, and my manipulation was on point. And I can just get what I want when I wanted it at any time. And I'm just happy and blessed to have her in my life today. So I love you, Ben.
And I mean, that's what this is about, is rebuilding those relationships, right? That it's possible. It's possible to be a pretty shitty person. Now, me speaking about myself, to make that transformation, to make that 180, to be able to change. And when you were talking about how your life is, and you would never imagine. Anybody that knows me, especially individuals that are tuning in on my Facebook, there's individuals that are still on my Facebook from when I was Macho, the drug-using, gang-banging individual, and I was as cold gets. There wasn't much that could affect me, outside of my kids, because of the environment that I grew up in, the community, and the individuals I surrounded myself with. But I relate so much to what you were talking about, because if you know me at all, my brother-in-law, will forever be my brother-in-law, Garrett. He lives in Pittsburgh, and he's been a huge support system for me my entire life. You know, I believe he was around me since I was 12, 13 years old, ripping and running, homeless, you know, everything that I did as an adolescent, he was kind of there for. He lives in Pittsburgh now. And, you know, just the support that he's shown to see the things that I'm into today, I would have never thought that I'd be the community liaison for a, you know, a nonprofit, or that I'd work in the field, period. That I'd be going into Reading High School to talk to, you know, troubled youth. And these type of things were all, like you said, on the moon, but they were a dream of mine for years now. But the work, I put in the work. I wanted to do this because I know how many misunderstood individuals there are on those corners. I know how many misunderstood individuals there are in those trenches. How many are out there that have this ability, this uncanny ability to just survive, and yet I want to try to get through to those individuals that we don't have to just survive anymore, that we can live, and that not only just live a good life, live a happy life. I wake up every day peaceful. I wake up every day, you know, I look over, I see Tina, I see Ken, and I can't help but smile. You know, I may have a rough day at work. When you're in the field, as you know, more than me, it's not always great. Those days, I find them still to be great, even in my bad days, if that makes sense. But, you know, you walk through the door after having a bad day, and I see their faces, and my heart just melts. The look that Tina gives me today is so much better than the look that she gave me 5 years ago, you know, when I'm sitting on the bed and I'm drooping and I'm high up, and, you know, she just wants me to sit down at the table for dinner. Now I walk in and I know that my wife is truly proud of me, and, you know, I'm so proud of her. We put in so much work over the last 2 years, and, you know, Tina, I'm so proud of you, and I thank you for everything that you've allowed me to accomplish, because like Lee was saying about his wife, Tina is my biggest fan. She has supported me in anything I wanted to do. You know, when I wanted to be a party promoter, boom. I wanted to be a rapper, boom. Fishing, boom. Like anything I could think of, Tina's always been my biggest supporter. And, you know, that's what we encourage you guys to try to develop, is those type of relationships with people, because they don't just come from significant others. You know, Lee has put me in positions to win, and he's put me in positions to learn, most importantly. He shared the knowledge with me. He's willing to talk to me. I can call him at any time. Well, let me be careful on what I'm saying. But he's given me so much. You know, Yvonne, every time I talk to Yvonne, Dr. Ramona, Dr. Centrell, and like I had a live with you last weekend, and to say that I now have that ability to reach out and talk to doctors is mind blowing. And, you know, when you come from where I come from, you know, those aren't possibilities unless you're going to the ER because maybe you were in a bar fight. You know, you might have unfortunately got stabbed, shot up, then you talk to a doctor. Or if your PO might have said, hey, we need some anger management, things like that. But these are working relationships. These are people having trust in me to, you know, put me in positions to help them out. And it feels amazing. And it's possible. If you know anything about me, you know that it's possible. Like, my life is a complete 180, and it's worth it. It feels so much better to be me today than it did 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's every time you say Tina, I keep thinking of sweet potato pie.
It's sick, man.
But you know, it's always. I just keep thinking as we sit here and we speak. I just keep thinking of the people that are out there struggling. I always say how heavy that arm is to pick up that phone and reach out for help. It only takes a few sentences to send a message on Messenger and just say, please, I've had enough. If you haven't had enough, just say, I just want to start. Give me some information, because I'm okay with that. I'm going to meet you right where you're at. If you're still using and you can't stop, I will still talk to you. I will keep talking to you until you're ready. You know, here in the near future, I will be getting supplies to help people with harm reduction. You know, give out those testing strips for fentanyl. Give you information on where to get stuff to use correctly and safely so you live another day. A lot of people will not agree with that, but we're keeping people alive. That's what we want to do. Harm reduction is huge and it's going to get more popular here in this area. I'm going to be one of the people that will be addressing that issue as well. But we want to be able to help people, encourage them to find the pathway to recovery.
Yes.
If you're still breathing, you still have a chance. If you're dead, we can't help you. So as long as you're listening to us and you're willing to take some advice and you're willing, open-minded, and open to suggestions, we're here to help.
And it's also an outlet for those who know people who are sick and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
If you have been sitting there and you're thinking about your best friend who you're like, how can I help him? How can I help her get help? If you come across this podcast and you give out our numbers, show them this video. Just jot down our number. Tell them that I'm somebody, Joshua Camacho, 484-926-8358. Tell them that I'm somebody they can reach out to and get information or just to have a conversation with. I can't explain enough and be more passionate about the way that my phone line is always open. If it has to do with getting you through a moment, through a day, to the next day, the phones are open. Just utilize them. None of the information goes anywhere else besides us. And at the end of it, it doesn't necessarily have to right away, you call us, you go to treatment the same day. That's not how it works. We, like Lee said, are gonna meet you where you are.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing. We want you to live. We want you to be able to be ready when you are ready. But the sooner the better.
Yes.
That's my goal, that the sooner you say, okay, I'm ready, my goal is to get you right to where you need to be. Right. Whether it be inpatient, outpatient, CRS, whatever the case may be, I'm ready to help. We want to take action right when you're ready, because if we don't, you will change your mind again. And I refuse to let you change your mind again. I just want you to say, help me, and I will be there for you, as Josh will be there for you as well. You can always walk into the Berks Rise Center. They have so much information on community agencies that they can refer you out to. They can give you education on addiction. They can give you Narcan kits here. They give you quit smoking kits, so like that you can quit smoking. They ask for Yvonne or any staff member here. It's Monday through Friday. You gotta come in here from, I believe it's 8:30 to 5. I could be wrong. It could be 9 to 4. I don't remember. Maybe there's a time around here. I don't see it. Oh, right there it is, isn't there?
That's the calendar.
Yeah, but look them up on their website, Berks Rise Center.
The Berks Rise Center regular hours are Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Wow.
And they're even open though on Saturdays from 12 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Because it's also just a place that if you are having a rough time, if you're having a bad day, you can always just pop in here just for a quick second, a break at life. To be able to sit down, have a conversation with somebody. Whether it be about, a specific topic, or if it's just because you have to unload some stuff. This is an amazing place to do that.
Yes. And while we're talking about the Berks Rise Center, here this Wednesday, Transformation will be hosting the Recovery Speaks speaker series on Wednesday, the 11th.
Yes.
From 5:30 to 7:30, and the person that will be sharing his story, his name is Troy Smith, and he will come and share his story of hope, strength, and encouragement for the still sick and suffering, and for people who are still working their recovery, so they can relate. And another thing, I just do want to let you know that if you have some time and want to read a book that you may be able to relate to, it is on Amazon. It's called Transformation: How to Get Your 180 Degrees. There are some takeaways after every chapter that can help assist and guide you along your way in recovery as well.
Did I see recovery football event?
There is going to be a recovery football event party, and that will be next Sunday, the 15th. And we are going to host, as long as they plan it. I think I put on the flyer 1 to 4:30, but it all depends on what time they're going to do it on TV. So that flyer might change to like 4:30 to 7:30, 7 o'clock. I don't know. So I just gotta wait.
The time's able to change.
Correct.
The
The date will remain. We don't know who the teams are. It's the playoffs. And now that you brought football up, prayers up to DeMar, right? Number 3, Buffalo Bills. Thank God he's breathing and talking. That was mind blowing. And just thinking about it, I just took me back to Sunday. But again, this is a great place. We're here for you guys. Transformation is only doing bigger things and want to help you guys, help encourage you guys that are still sick and suffering, the family members who are tired of this, they're still sick and suffering loved ones, and need to find them help. We are here. My number is 484-772-7079. You can find me on Leroy Cruz Facebook. And you can send me a message there. You can send me a message on my transformation page. You can send me an email, transformationslc14@gmail.com. And, hopefully here in the near future, you'll be seeing us on BCTV, any Alvernia radio station. We have some meetings coming up with them, and they are interested in us having a show with them. So, with all that said, there's also another speaker. I just don't remember who the speaker is at the end of the month. I gotta find out who that was. So we have 2 speaker series this month here at the Berks Rice Center. And then we have 2 in Spanish at PA Counseling. What were you gonna say?
No, just Joshua Camacho, 484-926-8358. Macho Camacho on Facebook. If you're into the email thing, transformationsjosh.23@gmail.com.
Yes. And I think that your Eagles might win today since we're starting off second.
I was going to let this go.
No, I'm not going to let it go.
I wasn't going to say much. But
I hope you have fun playing with our second string.
But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to allow people to find their joy in the littlest things.
Yeah, we're gonna gladly take a loss for you.
But we've been doing so much stuff, but you guys have been giving us such great feedback and have been so amazing towards what we're doing. That allows us to keep doing it. Like I said, one more time, I want to encourage that if you are not the person sick and suffering, but you know of the person sick and suffering, please point them in our direction. And even if you just, like I said about the Berks Rice Center, even if you just need a conversation, just to see how, what's going on, just please give us a call, man. Please give me a call, reach out to Lee, whoever you would feel more comfortable with. Allow us to give you a little bit more information, allow us to talk to you a little bit more one-on-one. And I promise you that whatever it is that you are willing to do for yourself, we are going to help you do it.
And here's the surprise of the week, is that I myself, Lee Cruz, has obtained his office at the, I forget the address, but it's in Wyomissing over by Glad Tidings, and I will do appointments over there. I will do my sessions there, but through appointments, so people would have to set up appointments, and that'll be starting probably sometime in February, but I do have the office space now. But just want to let you know that here in the near future, you guys can just set up an appointment and we can have CRS sessions there as well. So I just want to be able to help the best way that I can and help you out with whatever I can whenever you need it. So again, whenever you need the help and you're willing to start a program of recovery or just find a recovery pathway, I'm here for you. Reach out to me, send me a message, send me an email, send me a text. My number's 484-772-7079, and Mr. Josh.
484-926-8358.
And don't forget to visit the Berks Rise Center.
God bless you guys. We will see you next Sunday. We possibly have a very special guest for next Sunday. We will see how it works out. Either way, you guys will have us. In the comment section, if there's anything that you guys would like us to talk about, if you have suggestions for things, topics, things like that, please reach out to us. Leave those comments in the comment section. Next week, we are also going to have some sort of, I believe it is going to be a laptop that I will have here to the side that we can be more interactive. We want to be more interactive with our audience as well. We've been getting a lot of great feedback, and we want to just be able to have a conversation with you guys as if you guys were here. So we're going to have that set up to where I can shoot off some questions to Lee that you guys drop at the same time. But have a blessed Sunday. We will see you guys next week.
And enjoy the Giants game. I'm
Go
not gonna say
Birds.
Eagles.